From Rich Alvarez in Northern California, this is Video Game Fights. And now your host, Rich Alvarez.
Hello, and welcome to Video Game Fights right here on the Rich Alvarez channel. This is our 4th overall episode. We're so glad that you decided to make Video Game Fights a part of your day. We've got some great questions and some great guests. Let's go around the table and introduce everyone. To my left is...
Garrett Allen!
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Back for the third time.
Yeah, back for the third time. I think. Wait.
Yes.
Yes, because I've been in I've been in a few different seats here. Most of you know who I am.
That's it.
An introduction.
And then this guy.
Hi, I'm Adam. You might have seen me before, but probably not.
Adam was on the short-lived Nerdy News Now program right here on the Rich Alvarez channel. And then our last guest today.
Здорово, меня зовут Mikhail. I'm just fucking with you. My name is Misha.
He speaks English?
So what we're going to do is the same thing that we do every week, where I ask everyone a series of questions. They will get a maximum of 2 minutes to answer the question, and then they will all debate and fight it out until I decide there's a clear winner amongst the 3 candidates. Are you guys ready?
You get 30 extra seconds if you put a pin in Adam's eyeball.
That is definitely not a rule here on Video Game Fights.
It's the glasses.
So I will assume you're all ready. Let's play Video Game Fights! Woohoo! Okay, round 1. Garrett.
Yes.
What is the worst video game series ever that includes at least 3 games?
Okay. Yeah, I had a lot of answers here. I found this question kind of challenging only because most of the time if a series is pretty bad, it dies at 2. But for the series that made it 3 games and beyond, I'm going to go ahead and pick Angry Birds. Fascinating one considering it sort of defined the mobile market for there, but in terms of a series that actually was regressive in really meaningful ways, I think Angry Birds stands out. For starters, very simplistic game. Very, very simplistic, and that brought to it a lot of casual users, but that's kind of when things became problematic. The first Angry Birds was really solid, a good presentation of an original idea. All subsequent ideas that came out of that were kind of repetitive after that, though, as far as all the re-releases. We saw many re-releases of Angry Birds, no significant changes, and it put a lot of its content behind a paywall, which I think really set the precedent for mobile games going forward that, like, oh yeah, you can do a half-baked game and put the next 2/3 behind repetitive $5 paywalls, and people will totally do it! So they repeated that formula over and over and over again, and I just feel like for a while there, that was the way you made money in mobile games, and this entirely interesting medium, that became kind of the safe economic space that a lot of subsequent games occupied. So what started as a really, really good idea, in the end, forced the market into a very safe and non-innovative place. That's why I think it's the worst of any really, really significant recurring series, just in terms of what it got away with.
All right, excellent. Angry Birds. All right, Adam, what did you pick for what is the worst video game series?
Well, for me, I picked, and this is going to make a lot of people angry, but I picked Gears of War. And it's only because I have a deathly fear of chest-high walls.
Deadly.
I hate moving up to a chest-high wall, especially in third-person shooter. I don't really like third-person shooters, and I'm only mostly on opinion, not objectively, but you go up to a chest-high wall and then you gently caress it as if it was your own child, and it's quite beautiful, but it's not what I want to do in my game. I will give it points for it looks kind of cool, especially when you're watching it, but I just can't give any good points for big burly guys shooting at things using chest-high cover, especially when it's very linear, and it's just mostly horde mode, which is my least favorite part of most games.
All right, excellent. Gears of War. All right, Misha, what is
Mikhail,
the worst video game series ever?
It was a tough choice, actually. I'm going to have to go with COD, Call of Duty. That's probably going to make some people a little bit upset, but I'm going to say that it's probably the most worst video game series ever, because it's essentially the same game recycled over and over and over again with a lot of very linear and non-unique game mechanics, which every successive game does its job pretty well, to be honest. Truth be told, it's a money pit. Every game makes whole bunch of money, and then it gets pushed into the next game, into the next game, and next game. And on top of that, they release a new game in Call of Duty every 6 months to a year. And for the most part, I don't like the fact that it's just rife with stereotypes. It's just rife with unrealistic combats. And real war, there is a lot of rules. And the game breaks each and every one of those rules. Torture of prisoners, killing POWs, destroying international landmarks. And that pisses some people off across the seas. So just getting that out there.
All right, you guys all have made excellent decisions and good starting positions, and now, fight!
So, what do you guys got, like, against video games marketed toward 14-year-olds? It's okay. It's okay to make games for teenage boys.
Call of Duty does not belong in the library of a teenage boy.
Yeah, but let's be honest
Especially
about
ones
that
that are not
demographic.
mature enough, or at least smart enough to be able to call SWAT on their rivals. Because they can't have their freaking way, and there are no parents around in order to make sure they don't do that sort of bullshit.
That's a freedom of that's a sociology problem, though.
Using
That's
government resources for things they should
I'm
not
aware
be
of that, but
doing.
that's not a regression on Call of Duty. Call of Duty did a good job of bringing out, because like the shooter market was all over the place. Halo Combat Evolved and whatnot, but here all of a sudden Call of Duty came on to the stage, and yeah, it's been a rough series. It won't win any awards for best series, but was it the worst? No, it did a few really important things.
And I will say objectively that Call of Duty to play is actually not that bad. It's
yeah,
a
but
fun
neither
game
is
to play.
Gears of War
And
is fun too.
It's
jerk.
not. Come on, chest
It
high
is.
walls.
Yeah, okay, so here's a game where you meaningfully presented cover. Like, cover was important.
Yeah,
It
but
had
the
a
enemies
fluid-
have cover. It's
Yeah,
like
they do, because that's what you do in a firefight.
I would rather
you
play
hide.
whack-a-mole.
That's what you do in a firefight.
And plus, why did you pick Angry Birds when you could have easily picked Cut the Rope, Tetris, any of the other games that there's literally a million of?
I know, but like Angry Birds was there in a way. It's very much the poster
Well,
child.
it's the
of that
most
whole movement.
popular, so how is it the worst?
Because
There's nothing you missed about Angry Birds.
What's that?
Angry Birds was the game that taught my nephew, 3-year-old, 4-year-old nephew, basic physics and understanding of space and how it works.
that's great.
That is something not very many games can do to a 3-year-old and keep their attention consistently. So the problem with Angry Birds is that it's marketed towards the wrong people.
What did you say? It sounded like your niece's 3-year-old, 4-year-old.
It's Russian families, dude. It's fine.
What are you trying to say?
You remember a Russian wedding? I have.
Oh, jeez.
Rich, I'm afraid I gotta admit, Russians aren't born. We grow on rocks.
Oh my goodness.
Snowy
We're like
rocks
mushrooms.
in the
We grow-
Arctic Circle.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
English is like your second language, right?
It's actually my first.
Oh, but you also speak fluent Russian as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's
This
right.
guy knows 2 languages, ladies and gentlemen.
He's bilingual, yeah. Not a commonality in this channel.
Oh,
That's special.
all right.
But again, Angry Birds 1 was really good. It's the series, the pollution of that. Oh my god, what?
Adam, I need to hear more from you on why Gears of War is worse than Call of Duty and Angry Birds.
Well, Gears of War is like Call of Duty, where there's a new one every but it's not as often, I'll admit. But I have to say that, not objectively, I've just never liked chest-high cover walls. I don't know why, but that's why I hate it more
know
than
that.
Call of Duty.
You
And also,
mentioned
there
that.
are no multiplayer freaking campers in Gears of War. All right, it's single player. You don't have to deal with the terrible community on Call of Duty. And Call of Duty 4, one of the best games.
Okay.
To be honest, is rather fair.
That is the end of your guys' time. All right, let's go
it's
to Jackie
concluded.
super quick. Jackie, was there any facts that seemed out of line? Nothing? Okay. Then I get to, whoa, who's this guy? Is it Derek Colson?
Nope, she left it on the fat cam.
Oh.
Nobody gets to see me.
He's a ghost.
Okay.
He's the cam ninja.
This
Ignore
one's
him.
actually not hard for me at all. You guys made a lot of good points, but ultimately I felt like Adam and Misha, you guys were talking about why those games were bad for you, more so than what made them bad series overall. And Garrett had a lot of good reasons why Angry Birds was just a bad series overall for everyone. So Garrett gets the first point. Garrett wins round 1. Woo! And
It's the
guess
first
what?
time you'll ever hear Angry Birds wins.
Wins! All right, and we're not going to waste any time discussing or debating who won for what reasons. Let's just get right into round 2. All right, here
Man.
we go. We're being deliberate.
You
today.
already went to the bathroom. You don't need to rush.
I know, but, but we're gonna play like.
That'll race the finish line.
You know, we want to make sure this is fun and exciting for everyone in home.
Fun and exciting.
All right, round 2, best party game. Adam, what is the best party game?
The best party game?
The best party.
That's
game.
going to be Mario Kart, my friend. It's got awesome items. It's got a lot of depth. It makes it fair for people who are both good at the game and bad at the game. There's so many of them that you can pick from, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be whatever's the most recent Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. So you're going with Mario Kart 8 for
Yes.
specifics. Okay.
To be specific, yeah. So there's just a lot of cool items. It's very fun to look at. It's fun to watch, not on top of just being fun to play. And it's Mario Kart. Who doesn't like Mario Kart, especially at a party?
All right. Moving right along, Misha, what is the best party game?
I would say it's Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity and Cards Against Humanity
version.
online. All right.
Yes.
Or translate, I think, pretty damn well, considering that it is still at its base core Cards Against Humanity. And the thing with Cards Against Humanity is you don't have to be particularly funny, bright, or even sober to be really good at it. It's a fantastic party game as it allows you to get to know the people that you're with, whether they're complete strangers or your friends. Get to know how they're tick, what they're interested in, what makes them laugh, and even
Bad shit.
Even the bad stuff they might be into, and what to watch out
Too many
for.
shitting in a bucket!
Oh, jeez.
All right.
And it's ridiculously popular for damn good reason. Because it's easy to play and you get to know people. And part of the point of the game is the communal experience of all working together in order to pretty much make an impromptu comedy sketch. As it were.
Awesome. All right, Garrett, what is the best party game?
On a similar vein, but slightly different, I went with Quiplash, which I know is a fan favorite on this channel, so I'm going to expect people in the comments to be rooting for me. But, as always, fangirl, damn it. That being said, Quiplash takes a very common, sort of like successful medium, very similar to what Cards Against Humanity grips on, but it adds a level of customization and user inclusion that hasn't really been done before. The really innovative sort of Jackbox solution where one person brings up the console and then everyone else plays on their phone to customly submit answers and customly submit content. I mean, that's a whole new level of immersion beyond even what like Cards Against Humanity offers. The idea being that you can tailor your answers now to an audience and whatnot, and all of a sudden you own those answers. It's a lot more exhilarating as far as like what's at stake, as far as like who's winning, who's losing, and anybody who knows anybody reasonably well can play. There's really no skill dependence or whatnot. Everybody has a smartphone. You could absolutely sit your parents down and just be like, hey, this is Quiplash, let's go. And it would take them no time to figure it out. It's very cross-accessible to even non-gamers, which I think personally is a really big component of any party game. It's got to be able to take your friends who are way into this sort of stuff, and it's got to take a lot of your friends who maybe never touched a video game and bring them onto one pedestal where they can have fun equally. I think Quiplash and just Jackbox in general presents a very good medium there.
All right. You guys all gave really great, fantastic answers, and now, fight.
Okay, so
Garrett.
Cards Against Humanity is way too vulgar for any kind of party that has anyone who's under the age of 18.
Wow.
That is a fantastic
That's do you know where Cards Against Humanity is played? Mostly at parties with where
Right,
everyone
but
is
we're
under
talking
18.
party games in general. You've just exiled yourself to a small group of people.
And truth be told, the same
18
can
and
also
over.
be said about
Well, it's not
Quiplash is
necessarily
not
vulgar.
necessarily.
It's not
Quiplash is not
necessarily vulgar.
inherently really
audience.
Quiplash is a little 13 plus ish. There's not really anything inherently vulgar about it. Granted, it goes there, but that's again a sociology problem, not
Yeah.
a video game problem. I take issue with your suggestion because
Mario Kart?
Yeah, I mean it's a good game, but
One player who's really good at the game, they're gonna make it not
skill
fun for
disparity
everybody
is
else.
absolutely giant. I have been spent my I'm a gamer. I'm present within this culture, and I have spent my whole life getting wrecked at Mario Kart.
Yeah, the game is algorithmically created so that people who are in later places get better items.
I realize that, but that doesn't win you matches, nor does it make it... I guess I'm referencing the idea that there is a skill floor and a skill ceiling to Mario Kart,
yeah.
and the way that these two aren't. So, like, that would take some people out of the equation. The non-gamers are inherently going to get annihilated.
Yeah, but
I know you don't have. I know you don't have parties without gamers, so it's different.
I understand.
But, like, across the board.
Now, I will say both of your guys' games being inherently, you fill in cards and stuff like that, or you fill in blanks for other people to judge. The problem is that also ostracizes people as well as Mario Kart but in a different way. People who aren't as well known within the group or know other people as well are going to be immediately ostracized from the game.
For the most part, those are.
Can be solved.
So it's not gonna because
because it's not necessarily it's a fun communal experience, but it's not really a social game. You don't necessarily have to know your fellow players.
Now I want to look real quick at the cost
makes
of
you
each of
help
your guys'
your
games.
friends.
Your game requires everyone to have a cell phone.
Correct.
So that's $400 to $600 per person to get play.
Yeah, most of the people can
Most
be walking
people
in
do,
with
but
a
not
cell
everybody
phone.
has a cell phone, and not everybody's cell phone is charged.
I would say more people have a cell phone than know how to play Mario Kart.
I don't know about that.
Is that a fair assumption? Fact checker? Can we get a figure on that? No.
And I'm pretty sure Cards Against Humanity Online requires everyone to have a PC.
Yes, but the people who are already playing it are already gonna most likely be adults.
That's. I mean,
So
that's
okay. So they're
You know what? Actually, I think I've heard enough from you guys.
He's ready to make a call cold turkey.
Well, actually, Jackie, I want to know, did you look up like a poll on what was the best party game?
Yes.
And what was like some of the winners on there?
Mario Party.
Mario. I know. I'm surprised nobody
Smash
picked Mario Party.
Brothers. It was a lot of Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I also thought that Adam pulled out a few really good points at the end. Even though, you know, we could say subjectively it might not necessarily be true for every group. But, you know, it's true. Not everyone has a smartphone. And, you know, it's kind of, I know that a lot of people do, but not everyone
And you got to
has a
download an
smartphone.
app, too.
Fact.
Wait, no.
You
got-
don't.
you have to
Oh,
use it.
Derek Brown's
Yeah,
back.
Brown.
I have a fact.
Are you going to sneak your head in there?
Yeah?
Hello. I'm behind the thing.
What's up, Derek?
There's 6.8 billion cell phones. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody.
Okay, that's a good fact. That's a good fact. Yeah, I heard a lot of why, you know, like Quiplash and Cards Against Humanity, those are fun party games. But Adam also kind of drove the fact home that, like, basically with Mario Kart, it's just kind of like if, you know, somebody happens to have Mario Kart, it's kind of everybody can kind of pick up and play it. There's not as much setup. And oh
Yeah.
god, what else did you say? I didn't write it down, but you said something else that really.
The other two games ostracize people?
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
You can have a shy person pick up a controller and they don't have to really, but they can have fun.
yeah. There's no ostracized. I have been
Assuming-
ostracized in both Quiplash and Cards Against
Yeah.
gonna say-
Where you're like, I have no idea what any of these other people
I think
think
Rich
is
is
funny.
just better at Mario Kart than he is.
Oh, you know, it's a Mario game, so, you know.
Yeah. And plus the propensity
go.
for
No,
both of those
seriously.
games to be very vulgar.
But not being biased, you know, you guys can fight me in the comments. I just felt
Fight
like
him.
Adam had the best arguments for why his was the best party game that everyone could enjoy. So Adam gets the point. Woo!
Everyone that owns a Wii U.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the worst.
But only one person needs them.
Right. Only one person
That's
needs a
the
Wii.
worst.
Okay. So, round 3. Misha, pitch the next Elder Scrolls game.
In 2 minutes.
Super easy.
In 2 minutes.
all right.
Get 2 minutes.
All right, go. One of the major events of Skyrim was the whole conflict between the Empire and the Altmarian Dominion. Naturally, it would be almost a natural extension of the universe to have the next game take place around the Somerset Isles and involving heavily the Dominion and the Elves. And on top of that, it'll be a fantastic way to show that the Elves, like, as far as I can tell, Elder Scrolls does have a bit of, like, gray area times certain storylines that do have, like, gray areas where they don't try to depict everyone as absolutely evil. And in Skyrim, a lot of the elves were total dicks. They can't all be possibly dicks. So a great way to show off pretty much their part of the world, their part of the lore, what their whole story is, and it kind of makes sense for them to naturally go into that part of that setting because they talked about it so much in Skyrim, but never really like expanded upon where their lands are. What do they like? And on top of that, it would be a fantastic way to also include a storyline that doesn't have anything to do with gods or monsters affecting the overall world destroying, just wrecking everyone's shit, and instead having a character perhaps that affects things more on a political level. Maybe you can start a rebellion, or more focus on just a freeform play and less focus on trying to shoehorn you into being the absolute good guy in every storyline. And I would like to see more of that kind of focus in
you also told me
Elder Scrolls
earlier
universe.
that your game would focus on the rebellion against the Dominion. Is that still a big part of it, or
That would be a possibility.
a possibility? Okay, but not the focus.
Not the focus, as
Okay.
just an idea that I'm messing around.
So
Truth be
you're
told,
focusing on the elves.
Skyrim had a rebellion. Maybe other Elder Scrolls games have.
I didn't
their
ask
own
you this
rebellions.
earlier. Did you ever play Oblivion?
I played a little bit of it.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. All right, Garrett, pitch the next Elder Scrolls game?
The elves are dicks. Okay.
Every time I want to get a deck, I play an elf.
Go on.
No, we're good. So I would really like to see almost the exact opposite of your idea. I would really like to see a game set in Hammerfall, or Hammerfell. That focuses around the basically the trade princes and the very desert tribal setting that is focused kind of in that country. I really like the idea that whereas Bethesda, I think some of the cooler nuances in a lot of their games gone recently, it's with kind of the survival mode mechanics. It's with the very high sort of chipped up difficulty with more, I guess you could say, harsh consequences just for being around and living in the world. I think a desert setting with a lot of scarcity and a lot of just like very, very punishing terrain sets the precedent for a game that could really compound on that survival mechanics. And then on top of that, we have an opportunity to include a very sort of choose-your-own-adventure, dynamic, open-ended plot situation with all of the sort of the theorized trade princes and the Alakir and all of the different sort of like tribal royalty figureheads that exist within that world. You have an opportunity for a very, very different game that can include some Elder Scrolls classics like the big monsters, like the dragons, like the old gods, but at the same time push a customizable, influential politics, very much the front, with the very popular sort of survival mechanisms as a core foundation for the like.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, Adam, pitch the next Elder Scrolls game.
Okay, so I'm not quite as versed in the Elder Scrolls universe as I think I ought to be, but I personally really love the Dwemer. They're like that ancient race that made the steam machinations and stuff. And I think an expansion that focuses more on them would be awesome. Like the primary opponent, in Skyrim, your primary thing you're killing is dragons. Imagine it being like steam-powered Dwemer bots and tanks and machinations and cool shit like that. Like there's this lost Dwemer population somewhere underground that's just like, all right, screw it, now we're gonna attack Tamriel, and we have this huge army of like steam-powered golems coming after you.
It's just been waiting for millennia.
So the major game it doesn't take place on a continent. There's like this vast underground continent that it takes place in. Because, the best part of any Elder Scrolls game is the dungeon. The whole damn map's the dungeon. And you got like these Dwemer steam bots, and you can make like darkness and sneaking a kind of sub-theme, and all of the different races are like coming down underground to, what do they call it? The Underdark or whatever?
Underforge.
And they're all coming down there from different sides, and you can start the game from like maybe different locations on the way to get there or something like that. It's just, I think the Dwemer is just such a cool race, and I'm so fascinated with them. And those steam bots are just my favorite thing about most Elder Scrolls games. So I want just more of that, please.
Okay, that all sounds good. You guys all have your own interesting ideas, but now just the inevitable. You guys gotta fight.
Adam, the point of the Dwemer is they're mysterious.
Right.
You're not supposed to know so much about them when you put them to the
You
forefront.
pitched a really good
Dragons are supposed to be mysterious. Gods are supposed to be mysterious.
And so the Dwemer,
Elves are supposed
because
to be
they've been
mysterious.
built, they've been wiped out for a reason.
Wouldn't it just
But like, they're there.
It would be steampunk. It would be a steampunk.
It doesn't belong in Elder Scrolls.
But it's awesome.
High fantasy. It's awesome, and it probably deserves maybe its own spin-off game. That will say,
But it deserves its own Elder Scrolls
But a
game.
true Elder Scrolls
Yes.
game. Elder Scrolls game. No.
I don't think elves deserve their own Elder Scrolls game.
It's a natural progression of the story. Hey, let's talk about the elves in this game.
How often has an
not do anything
How
with
often
it.
has an
Don't
Elder
you-
Scrolls
don't
game
you-
been a natural progression?
And plus, we've already
been good.
had
Often enough,
plenty. Bethesda
Reference
has
the
done-
blades.
Yeah.
Although I know I don't want to like shove lore down your throat that you
Oh,
haven't
it's
had a
okay.
chance to
And truth be
experience.
told, Bethesda has done plenty of like survival element. To be honest, I think they've done kind of that theme of
I disagree.
survival out
I
in
think
the
they've been
wilds.
tacked on at this point. It was kind
Yeah.
of like, here's Fallout 4. By the way, here's survival episode. And everybody's like, what? Well, that's really cool. And like Fallout 4 was stagnating, and then they were like, here's survival difficulty, and then boom, usership shot up immediately.
Do you really want to play the game in the desert though?
Yeah.
Like really?
Yeah.
You didn't get enough of that with Mad Max and other stuff like that?
Okay, then we'll compare it to literally every high fantasy in the forest sort of game. Also, we had an Elder Scrolls game that featured the Dwemer. It was called Skyrim.
Okay, it had the Dwemer in it. It didn't feature.
Did you play the Mages Guild?
Because they're all dead.
Sorry, the College of Winterhold.
They involved Dwemer,
because
but they wasn't about like.
Oh, because I'm pretty sure, like, doing that quest line, I saw Dwemer every 30 seconds. Like, oh god, there's more of them! Oh god, there's more of them!
But imagine new Dwemer and like Dwemer
There's
machines
nothing.
and like Dwemer things you can ride
There's
and
nothing.
puzzle contraptions with Steam and it's be freaking awesome.
It would be an awesome steampunk
I want to drive a Dwemer tank.
Guys, I know something also Bethesda has done.
Why not?
Memorable characters. And politics.
Well,
and
you
setting.
to be fair, you basically pitched Daggerfall, like Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. Like the high, there was the second Elder Scrolls followed the Bretons of High Rock, and it was very much this emergent, partially procedural generated world, and it was kind of political and stuff like
Let's
this.
not have an emergent world. Let's already have one that's already set up with defined characters. And a lot of your decisions pretty much will determine the course of a civilization instead of gods in the world.
Yeah, but Steam's powered robots.
Put the focus back on people.
Now this one, ultimately, you guys all like had really good. I love the.
I know. I would. Okay, now that he's decided, I love all these ideas. Actually, I love all of them.
Actually,
I played the shit out of that. I played the shit out of that. I still like mine
Let's go over to
best.
Jackie. I feel like there was lots of things for you to fact check this time.
Yeah.
But Dwemer though.
She's like the Dwemer, man.
I'm way into the Dwemer idea.
Yes.
Ooh.
But,
Super into it.
Just imagine a steam-powered gear dragon.
In Elder Scrolls? Alright, Jackie.
They had bone dragons. How much is that a step?
There is in fact a Dwemer tank,
Yep.
and it looks pretty awesome.
Yup.
That's the one I asked you to check. I was like, hey, check for drummer tanks.
The Underforge is located beneath the Skyforge in Whiterun.
That's what I thought. I was just making
Okay.
sure it was called the
We
Underforge.
got it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We're
All right.
good.
Well, then here's what I thought. Misha, I thought your idea was really good, although I did ask you if you had played Oblivion, because there was a lot of stuff you said that kind of reminded me of Oblivion, and we do see, I mean, that is where the almighty Dominion really is.
Reared their head.
So-
That reminded me of the second
But
Elder
you'll
Scrolls.
play the game
But
from their
also-
perspective, though.
one of your main points, I mean, I don't know, how big of a deal was it that your game took place in Hammerfall? Because Daggerfall did take place in Hammerfall. A big chunk of it did.
Oh, yeah.
Although, I mean, you said a wealth of other things, too, so I wouldn't hold that against you.
I'm really most
Yeah.
interested not necessarily in Hammerfall, but just in a very in an exposed setting. That's
I-
more what it centers around.
But, you know what? Adam came in with his Dwemer idea, and, it may not sound like a traditional Elder Scrolls game to everyone, but Adam came in with probably the most passion out of you guys. And really, like...
He is the
especially
loudest
for
person.
probably the person who's had the least experience with Elder Scrolls came in with this cool idea about going back to when the Dwemer were at their high. Because, yeah, there's Dwemer stuff in Skyrim, but it's like just their machines,
They're just freaking awesome.
You know.
I want more, just puzzles and stuff like that. It's so
like,
cool.
if it was up to... I want to see, like, the Dwemer, the race, before they're all dead. you
Yeah,
know?
or like it could be like a playable race.
genuinely,
That deserves its own spin-off game, not a true.
I would play the hell out of
But
that.
Adam came in and his game just sounded the most fun.
Also, you don't know about the Snow Elves because
don't.
you didn't play any of the expansion packs. But there's this other race that fought the Dwemer, and you actually unknowingly gave a very good build up to what that conflict would be because it would be epic.
Okay.
I just didn't want to say
So
that.
Adam gets the point. That's the end of round 3.
I can't believe I got that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Basically, my notes at home are Dwemer are awesome.
Dwemer be loud. Dwemer are awesome. Dwemer are cool when they're not all extinct.
Yeah, obviously the College of Winterhold, you go down and you discover all the cool magic and crap and all the things down there.
Well, that could lead very
Fight a
well
lot
to
of
the
Spider
Dwemer.
Max.
Yes,
You already won.
Yeah, you already. But you know, I gotta admit, like just like seeing the Dwemer in their prime would be the tits.
It would be
alright?
cool. It would be really cool.
All right, and with that said, round 4, best video game ending. We go right back around. Garrett, it's your turn. Garrett, what is the best video game ending?
This is kind of a weird pitch because it's not one that a lot of people think about, but I went with Journey on mine here. And that's a really weird choice. Why such a short game? Why a game with absolutely no spoken dialogue? I'm definitely going to take a more artistic stance on this one and say that being able to create a game with that brings you into a universe, that brings you into a game with like an omnipresent sort of auto-connected story, something that spans like ages, and it just tells it through a absolutely silent video, entirely just basically visual narrative. That's incredible, especially when something like Journey happens and you start all the way in and you advance through, and there's this, I mean, like really akin to symphonic swell of a game that gives you this entirely just visual cue storytelling element, and it brings it, sorry, spoiler alert, full circle. It's about the journey. It's not the destination. I mean, it's such a simplistic it's such a simplistic sort of idea and such a cliche, you know, almost.
Spoiler alert for everything we mentioned.
I know, right? But that's the whole kind of thing. And the ending is so simple. It's so simple, but it speaks magnitudes. I think it's one of the most beautiful like video game narratives just about the human experience and about, you know, just sort of how life and death and all this sort of like the cyclical nature of experience is, and they told it without speaking a word. Without speaking a word, they dropped this bomb of an emotional ending through simply a music and visual medium, and I think that deserves tons of praise because it's never been done like that before or since.
All right, Adam, what is the best video game ending?
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. The whole game just builds up this existential dread going on with the moon coming down. And it just really builds up. Even after you go back and you can change it, and you go back and you try again, and you go back and you try again. And when you finally get there, and keep in mind the first time I beat this game, I was like 10. The first time you're like, all right, I finally have gotten it. Now it's time to finally take out the Skull Kid. And you're thinking like, all right, these 4 giants are going to come help me fight this kid, right? So you go up there, you play the song, and the giants just come in and it's just majestic. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, they look weird, but it's beautiful. They all come in and they all hold the moon up for you. And then you go inside the moon. And now imagine how trippy that is the first time. Right? It's so cool. But then you go inside and it's just this huge, vast, open, beautiful landscape, almost like a heaven or something, or an afterlife or something like that. And you see this great big tree and all these kids playing. And they all have the masks of the different bosses that you finally defeated. And then you finally get to the Skull Kid who you're like, I'm gonna beat you. And it's just this sad kid who's just like off and alone. And it's just like, I don't know if I want to beat this guy. But then you start the boss fight, and the boss fight's freaking awesome. Like all the masks come down and start fighting you, and then he's running around like an idiot, and then he starts whipping you with tendrils, and it's a freaking awesome boss fight. And then the ending, that cinematic at the very end where it neatly wraps up all the different storylines that you've been doing is just so satisfying, especially when you know you've helped each one of those individuals. When you go back before you finally defeat the last boss and you go through the whole game from start to finish in 3 days, and just it wraps up each one of those just beautiful, each one of those on its own as its own ending. It just feels like the end for like beautiful narrative, but it all comes together, and then the hero leaves because the hero isn't there.
Oh, someone ran out of time today, finally. Sorry, Adam, that's all the time you get for your proposal. Maybe you can talk about it the rest of the way in the argument. All right, Misha, what is the
Was there a
best...
ton of more points to even
Mass
make?
Effect 2. You start the game from start to finish.
What game?
Mass Effect 2.
Oh.
Mass Effect 2.
You spend the first game building up Commander Shepard as your hero, and pretty much you get to a point where everyone admires you. Second game, you get tossed down through pretty much block 1 where almost no one remembers you anymore. And the focus of the game is from start to finish all about the characters and establishing your connection with those characters. You get to meet this amazing cast of characters assembled together, get to know their struggles, their backstories, get to know them at almost like personal level, even choose one to be your mate, as it were. And it all just keeps on building up, building up, building up. You solve them with their issues, and at the final ends, you get to pretty much what you set out to do originally, which is to find the collector base, defeat them, and you get to have their lives put on their line. And it messes with your emotions when you get to that point. It tests you on how well you know these people and what you know about their tests, their abilities, what they're good at. And when they die, it just tugs at your heartstrings. Everything about the ending, the music, the little subtle like dips in sounds, and those long pauses whenever you think someone is about to die. There's something like you get Grunt holding his chest like, oh no, he's about to go, he's about to go. He's like, nope, I'm okay. Yes! And at the ends, it finally builds up to that point, satisfying conclusion with admittedly, it sets up for another game, but it answers all the questions that it set out to answer from start to finish. Some things are left in mystery on purpose, but they're not the main focus. It's not like they make a question and say, we never answered it. No. They ask a few questions and they all get answered, and it also ties up. It also gives a fantastic twist at the very end.
All right. And I'm sure we all wish that the series could have just ended right there. All right, guys, and fight.
Well,
Thank you.
It was worth mentioning, and I'm going to bring it up just because it was brought up with me when I was attempting to defend Mass Effect 2 some time ago, that whatever happened in Mass Effect 2 does have to stand to reckon with Mass Effect 3. Sorry that Mass Effect 2 was very good. I've said that on this show, and it was subsequently brought to my attention that Mass Effect 3 left a lot of people unsatisfied, and that will forever tarnish whatever Mass Effect 2 did. That being said, your ending to your version of this ending that you're really pitching is one version. And if you didn't really play the game correctly or you had a different set of priorities, there are versions of that ending that were really dissatisfying.
But you have to try to get those unsatisfactory ending. You have to go out and play the game with a purpose.
You don't.
Or you have to be really freaking lazy.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You could go through it and just not, be familiar with certain kind of game mechanics and all of a sudden be like, what happened? What? Everybody's dead. I'm dead. I lost Mass Effect. Like the series. There are versions of Mass Effect 2 that leave on like story notes that literally Mass Effect 3 can't pick up.
Yes, destroy his dreams.
I mean, that's like, I know, right? Which maybe Rich is like, do it.
People are few and far between. No offense.
I know, but like that's like, what do we reconcile as an ending in that situation?
And even if you do get killed at the end, it still tugs at your heart.
How do we reconcile the ending of Journey
you
when it
want to
just
stand
starts
up
over?
and say yes?
That's the point, though. I know I'm gonna catch heat just because like I'm arguing an artistic point, but that stands in its own light.
I mean, it's just a short game. I mean, I get it. Like, if you're sitting there and listening to a great symphony and then it finally finishes on a great note, it is a good experience. But Journey, I don't know. It just kind of starts over. It'd be like listening to like a really good track of elevator music for like an hour.
If that elevator music was written by John Williams,
okay, yeah,
it was like 6 hours long that ended in you like crying. I'd ride that elevator all the time.
It's artsy.
I don't know.
It is beautiful. It plays really well, but there is no like human experience of connecting.
I'm not talking about the best video game. I'm talking about the game, and there's totally a human experience there. They're literally like they're the physical embodiment of souls. Yeah, that's the artistic
and objectively,
expression.
the ending to Legend of Zelda is freaking awesome on all fronts.
Hey, you know what?
It has that artistic ending. It does. It has that huge cinematic at the end.
You read between the lines.
And the hero doesn't talk.
He's got no personality.
His personality is you. He has the blank face.
The blank thing. My problem with I love Majora's Mask. It's great, but I felt like its experience was so different than a lot of the other Zelda ones because they put this timer on the thing, and I get that did a phenomenal job of creating suspense and pushing it forward. But don't you feel like we didn't get a chance to flesh out that world as much?
It's there for a purpose because that entire game is built as a huge allegory and metaphor for death and dealing with it. The land is actually called Terminus. It's literally called Terminus.
What an interesting simile. So is mine.
Which is why mine should win, because it's a better game overall.
It's actually called Termina.
Termina? Oh.
Yeah.
Which is Terminus. Come on.
Jackie, any facts?
That it's actually called Terminus.
Yeah. It's called Termina, Adam?
Okay, fine.
But some facts were that I found on a bunch of lists. Best game endings was both Garrett's and Misha's, but I had trouble finding the Majora's Mask.
Really?
One. Yeah, it was very split.
Huh.
There was a lot of Wind Waker, a lot of Ocarina of Time.
I was going to say, most of the fan base at this point is throwing Ocarina of Time out there. And here's the thing. I don't know if I agree with that.
You could actually
that's a
say
different conversation
at that point, then
entirely.
you could argue that the ending to Majora's Mask is technically the ending for that story.
Your arguments
Absolutely true.
are over. Anyways, Jackie,
The internet needs to end its love affair with Ocarina of Time.
That's it. Okay. So yeah,
But it's beautiful.
I heard a lot of like.
This one's tough, isn't it?
This one's a little bit tough too. Adam, I heard a lot of why you were excited about the ending of Majora's Mask again.
Who was it?
The building of Majora's Mask. And Misha, they kind of got you with the there's multiple endings on Mass Effect 2, so it's like you're kind of pitching a 1 out of 5, right? 1 out of 6 or something like that. I don't know. He caught you for that one.
It's actually like 64.
Yeah.
Well, most of those are just little plays of the same thing.
There's a lot to say about Mass Effect. I mean, I love Mass Effect 2, and I love the ending that you described, but it's just... Is it really the best when you consider that it's really, no matter what, you're like, okay, I gotta play the next one now for that ending to really be satisfying? And then, getting Mass Effect 3 doesn't really hold up to it, so I think that, unfortunately...
I hate that argument, by the way. I hate that argument. I hate that it was leveled against me the first time around.
But it's true.
I also just want to win.
The game alone isn't going to be held up by itself.
Yeah, see,
you're going to
I have
shoehorn Mass Effect 3.
I wouldn't.
Let's do
Remember,
that.
this is all based on the arguments, guys. I wouldn't do it except that Garrett brought it up.
I know,
So-
and here's the terrible tragedy is I'm using the thing that made me lose last
Yeah,
time,
he
and
to
I'm
win.
using it to win.
Except you're not
because
gonna
I'm a
win.
little whore.
If Garrett didn't mention multiple endings and didn't mention Mass Effect 3, then you'd be fine. In fact, you could have won this round with what you said already. Unfortunately, he did bring. That's what's so great about video game fights. It's all based on the arguments. Who's got the one up on the arguments, guys? And you guys are playing great. But Garrett has played this. This is your third time playing now. So there. Ultimately, I got to give the point to Garrett just because. Sorry, guys, it had to go to Garrett just because he had the clearest push on why his ending was a fulfilling ending for his game for everyone.
It's almost kind of only an ending. You kind of take your first step in that game, and then it starts to end.
So Garrett gets the point.
That being said, it's worth being said. I actually almost picked Mass Effect 2. I wanted to throw that game back in the gauntlet and win with it because
I'm smarter than that, Garrett.
I would have
Say
said
what?
Mass Effect 3.
I know. The
round 5.
the ambiguity of it means too many people.
Everybody shut but
Oh boy.
All right. So we're on to round 5, best console launch, and we're going to start with Adam. Adam, what video game console had the best launch?
Nintendo 64! If you don't know what video he's talking about,
Just look up.
oh my god!
One of those.
I wasn't personally there for the Nintendo 64 launch, but I will say that it was one of the greatest launches ever, and and it came out with one of the greatest games ever, Super Mario 64. And I'm sure I have every audience participants in favor for that. It's a great console. Its entire life was really good. It had a lot of great games on it, but it just launched with such a strong title, and it didn't kill anyone.
Okay, is that it?
Because one of these did. Hint, hint.
All right. Okay, let's move on to Misha. Misha, what is the best video game console launch ever?
had a lot of problems. Xbox 360, it came out with a lot more games, and it didn't try to do anything that was like super new or super edgy. Look, I've got this super graphics processors that can hard process all these graphics. I've got a Blu-ray player and I can do all these awesome things. No, it's just a console, and it came out with more games than its competitors because it was easy to work with from right at the get-go, and that's why developers went to it from the start to finish. And ultimately, its genericness kind of played to its strength, and it ended up being much more affordable than its other competitors at the time.
PlayStation.
It's a the other competitor.
Even though it's a better console.
And on top of that, it had a pretty good track record regarding its security with its online play. When its online play launched, it didn't get shut down every once in a while because
Just the console did. I'm done.
Because all people's numbers got hacked.
All right.
And it did a good job of securing its players and pretty much focusing on making the experience fantastic for them.
I feel secure.
Okay.
Yay.
Garrett, what is the best console launch ever?
The Wii. The Wii. So obviously the Wii. So the Wii was an interesting moment in time because it was definitely a reality check for the hardcore gamers out there. It was a startling and sobering reminder that the casual audience, the moms, the dads, the kids, all those people who never really been interesting, or not interesting, interested.
I've never really interested.
Yeah, you heard it here.
You heard it, soccer moms.
Those people who never really been interested in a game launch or a console launch or really all this kind of stuff, they came out of the woodwork with vengeance for the Wii. I mean, basically, the Wii launch functionally didn't end for 2 years. They were basically selling Wiis as fast as the factories could produce them, as fast as supply could provide it for really 2 years. The launch lineup was objectively strong, featuring a free inclusion of Wii Sports, which was pretty much their strongest title as far as ratings, consistency, another honorable mention for the party games sort of thing that didn't get brought up. But that was a title that came with the game, or with the console, free in the box, and it had lifespan across the entirety of the console. Quite tragically, there was that story about the one person dying, but you could literally argue that, like, my release killed people. If I just say it like that, that sort of thing. But you can't rebuttal right now! That being said, the Wii was really, really fascinating, and people were so about trying to get them in a way. And it was that first time that not only did the gamers and the people established with video games, but it brought this brand new clientele, people who had never cared about this sort of stuff before. It brought everybody out of their house to get that launch. I mean, it was intense and stayed intense for nigh on 2 years.
And then...
All right, and with that being said,
You were saying, Adam!
I was saying that how many TVs have to die before you're happy? Okay? How many?
I want the launch of this console felt all the way around the world. I really only have 4 things to say to Misha, and it constitutes my entire argument.
Okay,
Red Ring
of Death.
The Xbox 360, despite you are correct and it's very much correct in its argument about it produced very, very strong technically as far as providing a good platform for games. The hardware was a disaster on launch. Like, they had recalls for a good amount of time. That's really the biggest single argument against it, and the fact that, like, I mean, like, how do you launch a console and then it's recalled?
Yeah,
like, immediately.
and I only have 2 words: Xbox Live.
Xbox Live seemed pretty okay, actually.
Yeah, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's true. It stays online though.
Yeah, how many Nintendo consoles do you have to pay for yearly?
Nothing.
I mean, the Switch eventually.
Where's the online community? But that being said, a lot of Nintendo consoles don't hinge on
How many
that.
people want to yell at their TV in the living room?
I mean, generally people who put 3 Wiimotes through their TV because they're so into it.
Right, which is awful. And also, you couldn't even get a Wii most of the time for the first several months of the launch.
Your console launched with 2 games.
They were awesome games.
No, one of them was awesome.
And they didn't kill anyone
Pilot
or
Wings-
destroy any TVs.
Pilot Wings was interesting at best. All right.
Super Mario 64 is one of the greatest games ever.
Well, that's a dang good thing because it was really the only notable launch
Only
title.
for nostalgic.
And other games
It's
and
a
other
nostalgic game. That's the only thing it's remembered for. Nostalgia. That is. It's
And what's your console remembered for? Red
Let's
Ring
see.
of Death.
No, what my console is remembered for is
Getting thrown in a pool.
Gears of War.
And what's your console remembered for?
Wii Sports, I told you. The included in the game.
entire exclusion of the what you call the gamer market and the
Merging,
introduction.
I believe is the word I
No,
used.
it's not merging. There was not a hardcore game on Wii.
Not
Period.
really.
And not very
Not
many
really
games
at all.
Not really.
And in addition,
That wasn't the hallmark of its success.
And in addition, it brought motion controls, which most people will agree, motion controls in gaming have stunted growth of gaming in the last couple years.
It was a new gimmick, but you could argue that the
That's
pressure
all-
from
all
VR
it was.
hands-
It was just a gimmick. It stayed
The
that way.
worst thing in the
Have
entire
you seen
life.
an HTC Vive and what it's capable of? Where did Wiimotes play a role in that? Someone had to make the plunge first.
Okay, the entire history of the N64, the worst thing it possibly could have brought is the controller style. And the Wii U's controller is worse. It's not accurate. You can't do any actual real motion
I
control
won't bail
stuff.
hay with a Wiimote.
And there's something else.
It's a weird pitchfork controller just...
I'm starting to hear
Gears of
circular
War.
arguments.
It brought Call of Duty and made it popular.
Okay.
Shit.
It brought franchises to the
Okay.
All right, Jackie. What? Yeah.
This was a
Rich is so
very,
stressed out.
Very depressing fact check.
Did you look up that
I
Wii death?
literally found a case for every single one of your consoles of somebody dying from them.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Why did of all the facts to look up? I guess Adam was really
That's
drunk.
so morbid.
But there were pictures of them.
Oh. I won't be showing those pictures on this video.
Yeah, but his made every newspaper.
But the point is, everybody died from these video games.
Not everybody. I'm still alive.
We're all dead.
We're all
all
dead.
these consoles. I'm still alive.
But
Sorry, boys
they
and
were
girls,
all
for speaking from the
cases
afterlife.
where the companies were not.
Involved.
Yeah, it wasn't
Disclosing.
It wasn't from the. It was from.
But how many TVs have died from the other two consoles, other than Wii?
That's not an argument against my launch.
It was from. Them
Sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
Unhealthily.
The console
playing
launch, not the Wiimote launch.
And sitting in one spot for so long. That
Oh.
was more like what it was, and
Oh.
it was not the fault of the console.
Fair
That's
enough.
almost a good thing for the console, because
Yeah.
people couldn't pull themselves away.
Yeah, and then also when we went to Nintendo headquarters in Washington, we saw the Wii's award for the most sales.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it had a good
Saw
launch.
I checked a fact. Garrett's fact of Nintendo sales consistently for the first 2 years were pumping out consoles as quick as the factories can make them.
Yeah, but that's not a good thing for the consumer.
But I'm just saying is correct. That is that is a fact. They peaked on sales.
Yeah, you have
2
to
years-
convince him,
2 years
not
after.
him.
Right.
Hey, Jackie, any other facts?
No, that was it because it was just very depressing.
Okay.
Oh,
I stopped trying.
I have one more interesting fact.
Okay, yeah.
23% of initial launched Xbox 360s came back in with a warranty
right.
claim for the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
23%.
23%.
Oh man,
That's
that's
a
high.
lot.
That's a lot higher than I thought.
That's
it
more
was.
than the percent
All
of
right,
people who got the
Derek,
Wii U
why
they
don't you
wanted.
stick your head into the back?
About 10% of the people who wanted a Wii got one.
On this one. So just tell me, Derek, who do you think had the strongest argument?
So I'm gonna hide behind this thing here for you guys. The person who had the strongest argument was by far Garrett on that one.
What?
Not because I know him and not because we stream together, but because
We definitely don't share a mother.
Collusion!
I believe
Collusion!
it's last time.
Disqualified for collusion!
Last time collusion came up.
you guys brothers. No. So the main thing with Garrett's argument was it brought up the brilliant point of it was truly revolutionary.
Yeah.
It was a console that not only did the best in all history, but also presented a whole different level of game.
Okay.
That's all.
Jackie, do you have an opinion?
Oh,
I thought Misha did very well. I thought all of you did very well. I had to check the most facts from Adam.
I don't know what that means.
He brought up fatalities. I can't decide if that was a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, but everyone knows the story about the person.
It is
with
the more
Wii.
popular
I think
story.
based on the arguments, because I have personal opinions about all this because I've experienced all these launches, of course, and but based on the arguments, I felt like you guys all brought something here, but I also agree that I felt like Garrett had the strongest argument. So,
Well, it was the best launch ever of any video game.
I think all of you guys,
I will concede that.
Garrett gets the point.
Yeah. Like I would have done Wii in a heartbeat had not Garrett.
To be fair, I think everybody wanted Wii, but Garrett just picked it first.
Yeah. It was the easiest one to defend. It was literally the
To be
best
fair,
one.
Misha did request the Wii. I had already locked in that.
We're not
answer at that
supposed
point.
to talk about these things on the show because it's like, oh no, it's a secret, because But hey, this happens sometimes, and I just thought it'd be fun to point it out, even though I'm the one that made up the rule that we're not supposed to point those things out. All right, I can break my own rules.
Yeah, you can also edit it out if you wanted.
All right.
You should have gone with the original Xbox.
So unfortunately, that means
Yeah.
Misha, you don't get to go to the speed round. However, you do get the honor of giving me your
Judging.
opinion should I need it in the speed round per round.
I feel like I might have made him more angry than
Yeah.
Garrett has.
So now he can potentially screw you over now. That being said, I just wanted to point out that I did wait in front of Best Buy for 3 nights for the Wii launch.
my parents went to Walmart at 3 in the morning
nights?
for it.
And that is the only time I've ever waited that long for a console.
You
ordered
can't?
one
I
on
can't.
the black market from Wisconsin, of all places.
I'm actually doing that for the NX.
Yeah, I also did that for one of the Harry Potter films, a Star Wars film, and a couple other things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only video game console I've camped out for.
Did you know for the online market for NX, they're actually charging a monthly fee for it? About
Yeah.
Yeah,
$2,
well, that's because they're going to
$2 or
have a really awesome online
Yeah,
thing
but
now.
it's like less than half the price of the other ones.
Right. Well, let's save that for video game talk.
Yes.
All right. Moving
He's
on
already
to
got a rant
the
about
speed
the
round. Speed round. Ooh, don't look at my questions. All right, guys. Get that speed round music going.
It's very easy to look at your pages.
I know, I'm gonna do it like this.
All up.
All right.
I didn't see anything. I thought it was a scoreboard.
Scoreboard!
Scoreboard.
So, okay,
looking
so
at
the
his
way the
bell.
speed round works is, again, I'm going to ask a question. You must wait for me to finish asking questions. Some of these are multiple choice or yes or no's. Just wait for me to be over. Whoever blurts out their answer first gets to get that answer, and then the other person must take the other thing that I said in the case of multiple choice or yes or no. You get 20 seconds, and then you guys each get 20 seconds, and then you get a 10-second rebuttal each. Not really doing facts on speed round because it's got to be really fast.
That's absolutely
Unless there's something really, that has
Wrong.
to be checked. But for the most part, it's going to be.
Unless you request one.
I'm pretty sure I showed up in Time Magazine the most times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can ask for anybody's opinion, including Misha's, to help me out should I need help, or I can make a decision right away. So with that said, let's go speed round. Question number 1. All right, you are in the GameStop. You look in the bargain bin. You are looking at 2 games. Which do you buy? Superman 64 or Castlevania 64?
Castlevania 64.
Ooh, I heard it from Garrett,
Ugh.
which means that you are going with Superman 64.
Okay.
So Garrett gets to go first. 20 seconds.
Castlevania 64, far from perfect game, but it's still a very interesting platformer. Whatever discount bargain price, good afternoon, shameless fun.
Okay, didn't even need 20 seconds. All right,
Nope.
20 seconds, Adam.
I got Superman 64 because 1, it was probably less than like $1, and 2, I plan on making a YouTube video of it, so it's actually gonna be really popular, and it's so bad that people will watch it. It's so bad, so bad. But for entertainment purposes, that's why I would buy it.
All right, 10-second rebuttal, Garrett.
Charming, but doesn't yours kind of border on painful bad? Isn't that kind of fair to say? Whereas this one is just kind of like, it was a game from an awkward era.
Well, yeah, but there was like
10 seconds.
Oh,
10
sorry.
seconds.
And thought, go.
Okay, yeah, but like it's people watch that kind of like just masochistic stuff all the time on YouTube. That's why it's popular. There's tons of videos of people playing Super Mario 64.
Time.
Sorry, Superman 64.
Okay, Misha,
Blah, blah, blah.
based on the arguments, who do you think had the better argument?
I'm gonna actually have to go with Adam because there are some points who, in terms of gameplay alone, I do think probably Castlevania went out.
Duh.
But I'm not gonna lie.
Just needed your answer.
I've got a shameless place in my heart for masochistic fun of watching players just get frustrated.
It's concise
That's all I
answers,
needed.
Misha.
Okay. Derek, opinion?
Adam.
Jackie? Adam wins the first point.
Oh man, you took an angle with that I was not expecting. You got me good
Seen
there.
that angle at all yet?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah? I bought it
was
because
too
it's
hard. I bought it. I got an answer that's so awful that I'm gonna do it ironically for likes on the internet. That's brilliant, dude. That's the most millennial thing anyone's ever
For all of
suggested.
you playing at home, that means that the score is currently 3-3.
Ooh, first to 5, right?
First to
Still
5.
doing that? All right.
Yep. All right. Number 2. Who would win in a fight, Link or the Dragonborn?
Link.
I heard Adam first this time. Adam, 20 seconds. Why Link?
He's got a bunch of different tools. His gauntlets make him basically super strong, so he can lift a huge thing of granite. And he has literally hundreds of years of fighting combat experience.
Okay, 20 seconds, Garrett.
Dragonborn's got dragon blood. You can't all Link's abilities are based on very martial abilities, but like a very, very end game Dragonborn literally has command over the elements, over nature, over fire, over all these intrinsic things that would make Link very, very difficult for Link to even get close to him.
Okay, 10 seconds, Adam.
Okay, Link has defeated so many different creatures with so many different effects that are much like that in a bunch of different really cool and exciting ways, and he could deal with that combination no problem.
Hard to say for sure because he's never spot anything exactly with those abilities. Not to mention meteors raining from the sky,
Volvagia.
The time slow abilities, all those sort of different things.
Morph.
All right. Misha, really quick, just who do you think won based on the arguments?
Dragonborn, but has he fought all of those ability all in one dude all at once?
It's just one dude, though. It's not a fucking dragon.
You think it was Garrett then that won this one?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Derek?
Garrett.
Jackie? All right, Garrett gets the point.
Man, I was ready to give that one to you actually.
Yeah, right?
4-3,
But I'm not voting. I'm
Yeah.
winning.
Has the Dragonborn ever fought Link? Really,
Okay,
guys?
Question number 3. What is the better team shooter? Team Fortress 2 or Overwatch?
Overwatch!
I think Adam said it just a second earlier. What do you think? Adam gets Overwatch.
Had you finished the H in Overwatch?
That was pretty much
Or were you at Overwatch?
He finished his age.
All right.
All right.
Wearing the Overwatch hat. I just
You take that hat off while you're saying crap against Overwatch. All right. I also heard Adam first, so 20
I got
seconds.
lice.
20 seconds, Adam.
Okay, so Overwatch is an objectively better game if you take it currently. Team Fortress 2 is slowly dying while Overwatch is stealing all of their customers. And Overwatch has just had a much better launch than Team Fortress 2, and it didn't have that predecessor on Steam. And it's a Blizzard game.
20 seconds, Garrett.
Well, Team Fortress 2 is a Valve game. What does that have to do with anything? That being said, yes, of course it had a smoother launch because Overwatch had the world where Team Fortress 2 already existed and play tested this entire idea. Overwatch doesn't exist where Team Fortress doesn't exist, period. They took the time to play test the concept and worked out the kinks so Overwatch could step in, period.
10 seconds, Adam.
Okay, so team-based shooters existed before and after Team Fortress 2, so you can't call that. And Overwatch doesn't only have a team-based shooter effect, but it also has like
Time.
All right, 10 seconds.
MOBA
Garrett.
effects.
I would argue the MOBA thing is still very much alive in Team Fortress 2, though it's more of a shooter. I'm talking more about archetype-based mechanisms, which is really the whole entire point of Overwatch.
You gonna use 10 seconds to clarify?
Why would I use 10 seconds to clarify? I only have 10
All
seconds.
right, Misha, based on the arguments, who do you think had it the best? But was there someone who really zoned it in for you? If not, it's fine. I'll go to Derek.
I'm gonna have to call a draw. One paved the way,
Derek.
the other had the world.
What'd you think?
Adam.
Adam. Jackie?
I think it was Adam too.
Well, you guys are making this easy for me today. All right, Adam gets the point. It's 4-4.
Woo! So tight. Get me,
All right.
get me some
It's just
salt.
how-
Whoever wins this question wins the game. Well, that's cool. I didn't even have to come up with 5 questions for the speed round, just 4 questions.
Sweet.
All right, question number 4. And this is not multiple choice. Which console has the best controller?
PlayStation 3.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with the Xbox.
Okay, I heard PS3 from Garrett first. Garrett, you have 20 seconds.
I mean, this is kind of also a stab on the PlayStation 4 controller. They're essentially the same. But PlayStation 3 is there first, deserves credit. That being said, just a very, very simple, the most comfortable twin stick sort of setup with the quad buttons. I mean, everything is basically just not trying to be that at the end of the day. It's the most comfortable to hold. It's the most easily manipulatable. It's really the most timeless in the idea that it hasn't changed over generations.
20 seconds, Adam.
The Xbox controller is iconic. It can work on PC as well as Xbox. It has Bluetooth, and it's freaking awesome. The layout is perfect. It's a nice big meaty one for your big hands, as opposed to the PlayStation one, which is way too small.
10 seconds, Garrett.
The PlayStation controller, I mean, it works with Windows because it was made by Windows. That's just driver support.
Which is good.
Now that the PlayStation controller has driver support too, if you want to do that. That being said, it's a matter of preference, and I think the PlayStation controller works across more mediums besides just shooters.
All right, 10 seconds, Adam.
Yeah, but the Xbox controller works on PC and on Xbox. It's a two-console thing, and plus the support for a PC Xbox controller is really good. It's really good.
Okay. And you understood that was like, add a second to Garrett. Okay, good. Awesome. Glad we got over in each other's heads right here. All right, Misha, was there anybody that stood out to you?
I'm biased in this matter.
Okay, we're going to skip you then.
PlayStation 3 because my hands are small.
Oh, no! Derek?
I've never owned a PlayStation, but Garrett had a better argument.
What?
Becky?
I don't know.
You're darling. You're darling. Don't ever change.
Don't suck up to the. Get out of here, Garrett.
Collusion!
If you have to flip a coin.
Now, this is really tough because this is the last question. Whoever wins this wins the game.
I know, right? Hey, it's been good.
So,
You are absolutely a worthy opponent.
I'm just gonna choose Adam because Garrett's already won one.
I did have a really good
Do I
argument.
get a rebuttal?
Xbox controller works on PC.
All right, so we got undecided, Garrett,
works on
Adam.
PC.
All right, guys, here's what I think. I think
There's an
that
internet where you download drivers.
Adam, you unfortunately, I heard, again, this is just me. I heard a little bit more on why you like the Xbox controller.
It works on PC.
And Garrett just gave me better arguments on why the PS3 is just a better controller overall.
You can the console's a controller. Just kidding. It's less unwieldy than the Wii U controller, at least.
That was me. Is that what you heard too?
I heard my biggest thing was that Garrett talked to the point, which was what the best controller was. Adam talked to the idea.
Okay.
That the Xbox controller as a concept has always been.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, it works on PC.
You know what? This is a game where there has to be a winner and losers, but I gotta award the point to somebody, and the point is going to Garrett. Garrett wins the game. Which means that this is the second time that Garrett has won video game fight, so I might have to space you out a little bit more, buddy. But what can I say?
I'm coming for you.
He's gonna
Fight
be
me.
he's our Dan Murrell. People are gonna be like, you have Garrett in there way too much, and he wins way too much, you know? Or not. Maybe you guys love Garrett. Do you guys love Garrett? Tell me in the comments below if you love Garrett.
I'm easily the nicest person.
Really?
Oh no.
All right, guys. That
It's
is
definitely
going
Jackie.
To,
It's
Easily is the
definitely
most terrible
Jackie.
person.
that is going to be it. That is
Easily.
the end of video game
Easily.
fights.
You win.
Let's go around the table and shout out some of our social media. Garrett, is there anything you want to shout out?
Just my Twitch channel, The Complaint Department, featuring friends.
All right, Adam, is there anything you'd like to shout out? Or just...
I'm in the back alley behind KFC.
All right, Misha, anything you'd like to add?
Nope.
Don't you have a budding YouTube channel that might be a thing when this video is released?
Short. I didn't think of this. But you are right, though. I am in the behind the scenes, in the concept stages of, more or less in the concept stages of trying to figure out how I can make that sort of thing work considering my current living situation?
So
So it's a
look out for
debate
that
between.
guy.
That being said, there might be a link.
One of two.
There might be a link in the description when
Maybe.
this comes
Okay,
out.
so this is,
There might
Yeah.
be one of two courses, either YouTube or Twitch. If it goes
Okay,
Twitch,
We'll find out later.
You'll find out based on what URL
Alright,
is
guys.
there.
As always, you can find me on Instagram at Rich Alvarez. There's a big M in the middle because someone took Rich Alvarez. Rich
He's
M.
still mad about
Alvarez. Follow me on Instagram. And hey, for the first time, I'm going to shout out. If you are into cosplay and you like to see other people's cosplays, you can also follow Online Cosplay Central on Instagram. So go to Instagram at Online Cosplay Central. Follow Online Cosplay Central for all of your cosplay needs. Until the next Rich Alvarez video, I'm Rich Alvarez. Thanks for watching Video Game Fights. Oh, sorry. Can we turn it around to Derek? Is that what you want to
No,
do?
wave it to camera.
Oh, okay. Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching Video Game Fights. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this episode, and watch this video because it's really sweet.